the grow boxes come in. And so today she's actually picking up some for the Simple Living Institute. And while I had an expert here, I thought why not use her to help us show you how to do this. So that's what we're going to do here. So we'll start from scratch and let you know how we're planning on doing it. And with Tia here, we're not bound to go wrong. So here we go. Okay, so each of the boxes come like this. You'll probably receive yours with it pre-assembled, but just so you know how it starts, you've got this bag that's got the burlap top, which you'll see in a little bit, a whole set of instructions, so you don't even need us, but it's more fun to watch people do it than read it on a paper. And then the box comes in two pieces. And as you can see over here, you've got a lip on this and a lip on this that connect. So Tia's going to lift this up and then just set it right on top of there. And when she sets it down, you can see that inside here there's 4 little holes that line up with these little plastic pieces here on each side. And you press down hard to hear them snap. And we're going to do that. And last one. Okay. So that's step 1. Good job, Tia.
Make sure this lines up with that.
Right. If you don't see this, then you need to pull it apart and turn it around. Now in here you're going to see there's these little columns that the dirt's eventually going to sift down into. And underneath there you're going to see there's a little place for it to click closed. So you just push it till it clicks closed, and then these little pieces here are spikes to hold down the burlap. So go ahead and keep twisting them like I'm doing until they come off. Tia's getting hers off over there. And then just set them aside to use later. Now before we go to the next step, Tia's just going to pull out the instructions here for us to take a look at. If you'll have one of these in your bag, and if you open that up, Tia, inside there is a step-by-step sort of thing. Now this is on their website as well, so if you didn't get one of these for some reason, you can follow along. But we're going to go ahead and show you how to do this step-by-step right now.
Please don't water it.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. I mean, we can do it like they say it.
Yeah, oh, well, might as well. All right, so Tia's going to go ahead and fill in the columns. So take your dirt. Yours may already be full, but with it halfway. But this is how we got started with it. So fill each column with fresh dirt, and make sure you pack it down so that it's not just loose and won't fall out. And then what we're going to do is on top of that, fill it about halfway. So about where that little lip is, we're going to fill up the rest. So she's going to come over here with the wheelbarrow and start putting it in there. And don't worry about the holes right here, because the soil is typically dense enough that it'll stay on top of these holes, and even if a little bit falls through, it's not a problem. So don't be overly concerned with that. It helps if the soil is a little bit damp, just so that it doesn't break apart very easily, but it's not mandatory. All right, that's looking pretty good. So we're going to move on to the next step, which is just getting it watered and getting it packed down a little bit, and then we'll go into filling the rest of it up. Just give this a good soaking with water. Looks excellent. All right, now we go ahead and we're going to fill the rest of it in, and you kind of want it to be bulging out the top, almost like you'd see a muffin coming up out of a muffin tin. And now we're ready to go. We're going to go ahead and give it one more soak so that it's ready to be covered with the mat, and then we'll move on to planting some seeds. Stakes right here, and then on each of the 4 corners, you're going to go ahead and poke them in to hold your mat down. So some of your mats may have a little bit of a fold to them or wrinkle, but as the weather gets to it, it'll begin to lay flat. So don't be overly concerned if it's got a little bit of a fold to it. All right, so we're planting corn, and Tia, how do we plant corn?
Okay, well, corn likes to be planted on about 12-inch centers, but since we want to make sure we get the proper number of plants here, we're going to plant them a little closer, and we're going to put them about 6 inches apart instead. And so once you put the seed down there, push it in with your finger about twice the width as the seed is high, so about ½ inch deep. Plant the corn, the root comes out of the bottom, so when you put it in, if you can put the bottom side down, then that will help. Now if you don't plant it that way and you plant it upside down, that's okay, because Mother Nature knows which way is up. Alright, so the peas we're going to plant in the holes in between the corn. And we're going to plant them about the same depth, about ½ inch deep.
Does it matter with these which way is up?
But if you look at the seed really closely, you can see that little spot right there, and that's where the root is going to come out of. So if you can plant that down, that will be helpful. But if not, it's not a big deal.
So once you put the seeds in their holes, just make sure that you go back and pinch a little dirt on top of each of those seeds just to make sure they're snug in their little beds. Not too tight, but just to get them covered so it holds the moisture on top of them as well. Just to help the mats sit down some, we're going to go ahead and get the burlap a little wet just to get it started on its journey to flatness. Then the final step is just to fill up your reservoir. And one of the great things about the grow box is you can't overwater it. So once it gets too full, the water will just start to come out the side. And the same thing's true when it rains. If the reservoir gets too full, it'll just empty out the side, kind of like the water's doing here. So when the internal reservoir gets full enough, it's just going to empty, and you know you're done filling it. So we'll stop. And when the water has come to the top here, you know you've filled it enough. And when it starts to drop, all you got to do is refill it. All right, so that's all there is to it. Very simple, very easy. Tia, thank you for your help. And stay tuned for what to do next. So when the sprouts come up, we'll talk about what the next step is. As the seeds start to come up, you'll kind of help guide them into the little slots that you've cut in the burlap bag. But as this one starts to do it, we'll show you, and hopefully it'll be a couple days before you have to do it yourself. So thanks for tuning in, and we can't wait to see your mobile unit in the garden this fall. So see you around.